work of Frontline is to help people who are struggling with debt. Generally, they come to us because they're in crisis. They've had a really nasty letter from somebody and they think, help, what do I do? So they come to see us, quite often with a whole pile of unopened envelopes, and tip it out on the table and splurge it all out. And the first thing we do is we just spend quite a long time talking to the client about their situation, their background. We start going through the paperwork, start developing a view of their income and their expenditure. And so we take that pressure off. And very often that is the first really significant impact of the work.
I'm 44. I've got a 10-year-old son called Alfie. I'm just an everyday single mum that's just trying to manage money. I was basically sitting in my kitchen, crying my eyes out, wondering how to survive because I had what I was considering a big debt, around about £3,500 to £4,000. And being a single mum, I would wonder how I was going to pay the bills, money for electric, for gas, for water, for food. I've got 2 credit cards. I would get the letters saying, basically, you're overdrawn. I would then get a letter saying you're overdrawn. Then I would get the red letter. Then I would get the letter threatening me with court action. Then I would panic and I would ring them up and it would be, you've got 7 days to pay £150.
What we can do is we can write to the creditors to say that we're helping this person and that the creditors should avoid hassling the client. Because quite often people come to us because they're getting nasty letters or they're getting rung up every half hour to say, where's the money?
One credit card company would be ringing me from 8 o'clock in the morning through till 10 o'clock at night. And I was getting a call every hour. And that happened for something like 3 weeks. It's something I don't really want to think about, but my mum lives north of the border. I probably would have put Alfie with her and I would probably just turn around and said, that's it, I can't cope anymore. I don't want to cope anymore. And I probably wouldn't be here right now. I know it sounds harsh, but that's how it was back then. That's how it was 3 years ago. I couldn't cope. I didn't know how to cope. Now I'm thinking, I'm glad I did do it. I'm glad I did get through it. But it is difficult. It's very difficult. But yeah, Frontline saved my life. They've helped me understand it. They've helped me get through it. And they're part of a family because there are hundreds of people in the same way that I was, trying to get out of a debt, but not acknowledging it, thinking, okay, I'm going to end it. But what about the family? What about the people you leave behind? A debt is not worth giving your life up for. Acknowledge you got it, come to Frontline and they will help you sort it out. The worst part was walking through the door. I thought I was going to be judged. I thought I was going to be laughed at. I thought I was going to be yelled at. I was on benefits. I was actually living on £15 to £20 a week. And you can't do that with a child. It's impossible. So they sat me down, we worked out who the priorities were and a plan of action, and then we took it from there. They rang the creditors and they became a lot less hostile because Frontline were like the buffer.
When the crisis is over, there's a much longer term issue about how they learn their to budget, how they manage their family budget. And you need people walking alongside, mentoring, supporting for some people in that situation to be able to help them develop.
That amount for travelling, that goes on the electricity, that goes on the gas, setting aside some money for my son. Not just me, my son's had to do without stuff. He wants a Wii, he wants an Xbox, he wants a PS3 like every other child, but he can't have it because we've had to pay, or I've had to pay these things, so he's done without them. Hopefully in August, I've said to him, where do you want to go when we're debt free? Me thinking Disneyland Paris. He just wants his passport to go to Paris to look at the museums. Can't ask for much more than that, can I?
The work of Frontline and the credit union is to help the oppressed, to bring freedom. What the credit union does is to provide savings possibilities for people. And those savings possibilities can be, anything, £1 a week, £5 a month, up to larger amounts. But also then, because they've started a savings profile, if they get into trouble with anything, washing machine breaks down, need to go on holiday, they can also get a loan from the credit union. And in general, the loans that you get from the credit union are significantly cheaper than the loans that they'd be able to get from the typical doorstep lender.
Loans to people who might not have access to mainstream banking services, which therefore protects those people from falling victims to loan sharks at the most extreme end. But I also think they've got a role in terms of supporting financial capability, so educating people around the value of saving and what it means, particularly in primary schools. So set up saving clubs in schools, the idea that you start people young and then they develop good habits that they take forward into the rest of their lives. So I think they are making a difference. I think there's a real opportunity to sort of exponentially grow its influence as we go forward.
Any money we have is invested ethically as far as possible, and the flow of money is within the community. It doesn't go outside the community. So everything that happens is within the community and is helping the community. We seem to have developed a really good working relationship with the authorities. We can work quite well together to sort out issues when they arrive. Obviously, council tax. And we have relationships with housing associations. A number of people have been referred to us by their housing officer who says, look, you might be getting into trouble, you need to go and get yourself sorted out. I can only say that the relationships with our clients seems to be okay on the whole, because we get boxes of chocolates or biscuits at Christmas, and we don't charge for any of the services, and that's in a sense the recognition of something we've done for them. We've got, I think, 2 paid members of staff, but if you walk into 58 London Street at the credit union, you'll be met on reception by volunteers. If we go out to meet people, say at the Woodley Collection Centre or wherever, that's all volunteers. The people who provide debt advice in Frontline, they're all volunteers. We need more, to be honest, we need more volunteers on both sides. The volunteers for the credit union apply to the whole of society, because what we really want are local mums who can suggest to their friends or people they meet at the school gate that the credit union's valuable. The sort of volunteer we want in Frontline is really somebody who's coming out of the church environment, a committed Christian who understands the impact of money in people's lives. That wouldn't necessarily involve a huge amount of time, but it would involve getting to know them, helping them move on.